All right. Welcome to Chatter with Statter here on Wednesday afternoon, 5 p.m. West Coast time. I do believe it is 3 p.m. in Hawaii and it's 8 p.m. on that eastern seaboard. So I am very stoked to see that we've got people coming on into the hale to Chatterbox with the Statterbox. All right, yes, that is what is going on today. So, without further ado, let's get this party started. All right, we are back in action today. I'm so glad you guys were able to hang out this weekend, this last week for that extra show on Thursday that we had for Thanksgiving. And Mighty Python, super fun show. And Elf was on Statterbox at the Cinema, remarkably funnier than I thought it was going to be. It looks like it looks like Option is raiding with a party of two, and Shock is here in shock because I'm wearing a shirt with sleeves. I know. It's so weird to just see nothing but black. But yeah, I decided to give Lono a little bit of a shout out today because we're going to be starting this holiday season with the one and only holiday tune that our friend Lono does. He does not have a holiday album, as I'm sure you all know, nor does he have any plans to make one. But we do have this one little ditty, and let's see if I can find it on my stream. We'll get it playing in just a moment, but it looks like Broken Soul is in the house. I want to say hi to Broken Soul. Elaine also popping in. Looks like Cindy Krause coming into the house. We've got a crowd forming here at Chatter with Statter. And so since we've got a couple people here already, let's do it. I'm not sure if all y'all have seen this cute Lono video that he posted on his YouTube last season. Took it down after the holidays. I begged him for a copy, and so he gave me permission. And yeah, hey Rick, good to see you. Option, awesome. Hopefully, no prels this evening, but I don't know. After after the dark show we had on Sunday, maybe we need to all prel our eyes and our brains and get ourselves clean for a sparkling new topic, which today will be much more squeal inducing than the previous topic that we had, where the only thing squealing was our starving bellies. But yeah, so Vanilla Coke Pepsi's here in the house. Good to see everyone. Rick, all right. So Rick, glad to see you. I hope you hey Darlene, yep, I love my Lono shirt as well. Super cozy and super comfy. All right, so we are going to, what with it being December 1st, we're going to kick off the holiday season with well, it's a song about the holidays, but it's also a song about holiday dinners. And we always talk about food here at Chatter with Statter.
Okay, we all know Christmas is right around the corner next week. So here's a Christmas song from Molokai to all the kids out there and Santa Claus, okay? Oh, Rudolph got ran over by my tutu, bringing Christmas presents for the mo'opuna. No one was a-looking, now Rudolph is a-cooking, 'cause Rudolph tastes so good on Christmas Eve. Sing it out loud, don't tell the kids. Rudolph tastes so good on Christmas Eve. Rudolph tastes so good on Christmas Eve. You better not shout, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Rudolph tastes so good on Christmas. Rudolph tastes so good on Christmas. Rudolph tastes so good on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Can't like that.
That song always fills me with the giggles. Rudolph does taste so good on Christmas Eve. Rudolph tastes good all the times because Rudolph is delicious. That is right. And speaking of Lono, we will be having Lono music in the background. So let me know if the levels between my voice and the audio are sufficient and if I need to turn down the music or, yeah, just what we need to do. So, yeah, exactly, Darlene. Love it. Too cute. See, it's sort of a Christmas song. Sort of. It's also a song about dinner, right? And we always talk about food here on Chatter with Statter, so it's an extremely appropriate song for both the season and the show. Hey, Shog, it looks like you're trying to do a shout out to Lono, and the thing is I don't know how to do those things and stuff. I don't really have like alerts, and as you can see where there used to be a chat box, there's no chat box anymore. And then like when people do things with you know, cheers and biddies and stuff, like I used to have a thing here that said so and so did something. But since I switched from Streamlabs to OBS, I don't have those anymore. And yeah, we probably need to talk to figure out how to get those back. Because I know it's easy. I just I literally haven't even tried yet because well, I had an intention to try those today, but some of you might already know this. I know that Shock does. I had a plan for a bunch of pictures that I was going to show you. In fact, let's get started on the bunch of pictures because it's such cute pictures. I had a plan about a bunch of pictures I was going to show you guys of cute bears. And I found the cute bears on the Facebooks yesterday. And I'm sorry that these are not full screen for everybody. I know I couldn't get them to it. They just couldn't fit the screen. To make them a slideshow, I'm not tech smart enough to make them right. So here we go. This is, yeah, so the pictures aren't necessarily the most screen sizable-ist, but I thought that they were so cute that I wanted to show everybody the cutie little pictures. But then when I went to go get them off the internet, I couldn't find them anywhere, and I kind of had a panic attack. So I had to go figure out the where I could find them. And then I remembered, wait, I think I know where I could find them. And eventually I did find them, but it was kind of last minute. And so so I found the pictures, tried to make them a slideshow, tried to make the slideshow so all the pictures were big enough to fit the slideshow. But that didn't happen. So we're getting the pictures. We're just getting the pictures kind of tiny. One day, I'll figure this whole tech thing out. And yeah, Wild Willie, good to see you. These are bears, not venison. But that bear that was at the barbecue, he might be cooking Rudolph. So hard for say, you know? But this bear, he's just chilling on his couch. And now this mama bear wants to make sure that her kids are safe. See, it's always safety first with the bears. Yes. And this bear just wants to say hi. And it was so cute that I said hi. And so I put the bear picture in the stream. Now this bear, he's doing really well. This is his vacation home. And this is his vacation home in the winter. Now these bears are up to no good. They're drug dealing in the backyard. And that's some pretty shady business that's going on right there. And one of the bears, though, knows to keep his mouth shut. Like, the cops are already onto him, but that bear's just like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. There's no drug dealing bears. I didn't see no body. Hey there, E-Music. Good to see you. We are looking at random pictures of bears that I stole it off of the internet because after the slightly dark nature of our stream on Sunday, I thought I would show everybody the cutest little baby bear in the world. This baby bear. Okay, we'll go back to the baby bear. Look at the bear. He's hiding. You cannot see no bear. There's no bear for you to see right there. That's one of my favorite pictures. And then this is also one of my favorite pictures. It's the polar bear playing patty cake. Look at those murder mittens. Oh my goodness, those fuzzy feet. And then of course we've got Black Bear Angel. Yeah, bears can fly, Bears can fly, apparently. Now this bear, I love this picture of the bears. Somebody counted 19 bears in this tree that you can see. I could only count 16 only. But what I want to know is what the heck was on the ground that made all those bears climb up that tree? That's what I want to know. And then that bear, he's just chilling and it's cute. And then this is so cute, the chipmunk and the bear. They're having lunch together because they're friends. Yep, they're friends. Now this bear wants to know how you like your Rudolph cooked. Do you like your Rudolph cooked well done? Do you like your Rudolph cooked a little bit rare? I'm not really sure. And then, that's the lazy couch bear. Was it a skunk, you think, that ran them up the tree? There you go. Yeah, Cindy, clearly it's a hangout for the bears. Clearly it is a hangout for the bears. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi just looks like an average day in Canada. Yeah, not at all surprised. Not even surprised at all. And Cindy, yeah, the picture with the rainbow, I actually think I might steal that one and put it on my Facebook banner because it's just so flippin' cute. I mean, it looks like it should be a poster or something, right? But yeah, the drug dealing bears, though, that made me, I mean, seriously, they look like they're up to shady business behind the shed, right? Am I the only one who sees that and goes, what are those bears up to? What is going on there with the bears? Yeah. And then I think we're coming up. Yep, here we go. That's a poster waiting to be made right there. I mean, if that's not a Care Bear with the rainbow coming out of his belly, I don't know what is. And sometimes after Thanksgiving and other big meals, you feel like this bear, that big guy. But this is the picture that it's the cutest picture in the world. I don't like babies. Babies are stupid. But look at this cute little baby bear. Oh my goodness, don't you just want to put a diaper on his little baby butt? Oh my goodness gracious, the little baby bear climbing the tree. It's so cute. Wild Willie, you thought that they were shaking hands. Oh, you're so innocent. See, you are so innocent. Exactly, Darlene. They looked like they were kind of being a little bit shady. I mean, I'm not trying to be all projecting my lifestyle upon the bears, but seriously, they're behind the shed being kind of shady, right? I know, Darlene, that little baby bear was so flippin' cute. That's what I mean. I saw these pictures when I was at work yesterday, and while I should have been working, but I wasn't. And when I saw the baby bear, I literally made a noise so loud that my boss came into the office to see what it was that I was looking at. And then I had to show her all the bear pictures all over again, and she was making all the noises too. So, I'm very lucky to have an awesomely awesome boss. Exactly. Shaking hands after the deal or passing the drugs to the handshake. That's exactly it, man. Wild Willie, you know what they were doing. I know what they were doing. The cop knows what they were doing, but that bear was keeping quiet after the cop was talking to the bear. That little bear is just like, I didn't see nothing. I got nothing. And then that bear is just saying hi. Or maybe bye. But he just looks so fuzzy. I mean, how can something so flippin'... Don't you just want to put your face in that Belly's bear? No, that bear's belly. Belly's bear. That's funny. But yeah, dude, seriously. And then there we are. Those up to no good bears. Up to no good bears. They are bad news. And actually, that's so funny. And I have it not within arm's reach. See, this guy, he knows to keep his mouth shut. He knows to keep his mouth shut. But speaking of the bad news bears option, I don't know, were you on Discord earlier today when I was talking about the bad news bears? I got the bad news bears. No, we're not going to get bad news bears on Saturday, but I do have the movie Bad News Bears. And I think it was Rit that suggested it for when baseball season starts. So I don't know if we're going to wait that long, because if people are chomping at the bit to see the Bad News Bears, we don't have to wait. We're not bound by the rules of baseball. We can play that movie anytime, but we're not going to play it next week, because next week I have a movie, this Saturday. I have a movie called Daddy's Home 2, and it's another Will Ferrell film. Apologies for the Will Ferrell fest. I honestly do not intend to do that. I do not consider myself a huge Will Ferrell fan. In fact, 9 times out of 10, when Will Ferrell's in a movie, my response is, I don't know if I want to see that. So seriously, you guys, not an intentional Will Ferrell fest, but we're getting Will Ferrell 2 weeks in a row. Daddy's Home 2. You don't really have to see Daddy's Home 1 to understand what's going on in Daddy's Home 2. But basically what it boils down to is Mark Wahlberg got a divorce from a chick who then Will Ferrell eventually married that same chick. And so Daddy's Home 1 is about Mark Wahlberg's character and Will Ferrell's character learning to be a co-parent to their kid/stepkid. And then Daddy's Home 2 goes on from there, and it's really funny. Well, Rick, no, I think that you mentioned a bunch of movies for baseball season, and I have Wild Thing written down in the old notebook for the movie ideas. That, and along with A League of Their Own, I've got that on the list. But I actually, spur of the moment, just decided to check with my library to see if they had the Bad News Bears DVD. It turns out they totally did. It was available. Excuse me. They did have it. It was available. So I was like, shoot, I'll just grab it now. I'll burn it or rip it or download it. I don't really know what I do with it, but I put it on my system. So we'll have it in the future. And then Daddy's Home 2 will be next week. On Christmas proper, we're going to see The Ref. The Ref is a Dennis Leary, Kevin Spacey film. I'm not a fan of Dennis Leary, but I really feel like this movie was made for Dennis Leary. And so it totally, it is quite literally my favorite Christmas movie. So there you have it. And so we've got one more week to fill, or a couple more weeks to fill. I'm on the verge of getting Scrooged. I think I might be able to get it in time. So Scrooged is on the tentative list. And then we've got another week that we need to fill for holiday themed stuff. And then once we're done with the holiday themed stuff, we can have a free for all, and probably Bad News Bears might be one of the first movies we do in the new year. I was thinking of doing, for the New Year's Day movie, I was thinking of doing Rollerball, the movie that we actually started with. You know, start of the year, start of the Statterbox at the Cinema. Only if I can find one that doesn't stutter and break down the way the first one did. So that is the tentative plan, but goodness gracious, that is definitely not set in stone. Medium 7 Up, good to see you. Thank you. I like my shirt too. Super cozy. Oh, it looks like, okay, cool. So it looks like we've got some snow in Wisconsin, according to eMusic and Rick. Let's see here. Rick says that Bad News Bears is an okay kid movie with Walter Matthau, but he's way better in Grumpy Old Men. I haven't seen Grumpy Old Men, but I'm writing it down because I remember hearing that. Wait, I was about to write hearing that. No, Grumpy Old Men. I remember hearing that movie was really funny and really good when it came out. Yeah. And, shock, the library. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you right now. If the movie didn't come from Kenny Casey, the movie came from the library. That's sort of where we're at right now with Statterbox at the Cinema. I know that the library is probably horrified to know that I do that, but I take them down right away and whatever. So, it happens. Let's see here. So, shock, you're going to be out of town Christmas, New York, Christmas, New Year's week. So you're probably not going to be streaming. Okay. Well then, hey, I know that Shock likes to stream movies on Friday, so I'll probably be around. So I might swing in with a couple other movies. Who knows? Maybe the Bad News Bears will be one of those. Let's see here. Oh, yum, medium 7 Up. You're eating some Vietnamese food. What have you got on your plate? I love Vietnamese food. Let's see here. So, okay, cool. So eMusic also. So you say Grumpy Old Men is a good storyline. It's a funny movie, etc. And then Anne would probably like Grumpy Old Men because it's set in Minnesota. Okay, cool. Well then maybe I don't have a copy of it, but I will see if the library does. The library. Hey Anne, we were literally just talking about you. Like literally just talking about you. So good to see you. We weren't talking about you for long. You might have heard it, but what we were saying is Grumpy Old Men is a movie that we might want to play here or at Statterbox. And and that you might like it because it's based in Minnesota. So cool. Yeah, so I want to make sure if and when I get that movie to play, I want to make sure that Anne will be around for that stream because it's always nice to play the movie for the folks who want to see the movie. That seems like kind of the point. Yeah, so, ooh yeah, you betcha. Perfect. Fantastic. Awesome. So like I said earlier, I was hoping this stream would be a little more lighthearted than, say, the last ones. And as you all know, we all talk about food here on Statterbox at Statter with Chatter. Chatter with Statter. I don't even know where we are, but when we're here, we talk about food, right? Right. Let's see here. And so, so I have a question for you guys. I have a little acorn squash. Actually, it's not an acorn squash. It's like a celebration squash, but it's an acorn squash, basically. And I don't know, like, I usually just roast them, cut them in half, scoop them out, bake them, roast them, whatever. But I want to do something different and better. And so I was wondering, when you guys have squashes, or is squashes the plural of squash, or is it just squash? Anyway, I was just wondering what you guys, how you guys like to make your little winter squash stuff, if you have any tips or tricks. I was thinking of, maybe doing a stuffed squash or something like that. Oh, Medium 7-Up, you have a recipe for me. Or I can get a recipe for you. Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. And, thank you. Yeah, I washed my hair today, and so it was still really, really wet. Not that long ago, so I needed to figure out something to do with it. I'm glad it looks good. Thanks so much. So, it has leeks, goat cheese, hazelnuts, but we sub pine nuts. Interesting. I feel like I would prefer pine nuts to hazelnuts, but, because hazelnuts are a native to the Pacific Northwest, I almost feel obliged to do the hazelnuts. Ooh, maybe I could do half and half. Let's see here. Okay, so, Elaine, you think that the music is a tad bit too loud. See, this is the feedback that I'm looking for. And I just moved it down a smidge. Let me know, Elaine, if I should move it down another smidge. Smidge, of course, is that technical audio term that all sound engineers use when they're recording and stuff. Or maybe not. And where you wore your Lono shirt yesterday? Fantastic. Yeah, honestly, I forgot to turn on my heater earlier today, and so I was getting a little bit chilly. And I figured either wear a sweater or I can wear a shirt with sleeves. And it was like, you know what? I've got a shirt with sleeves. I know what shirt with sleeves I'm gonna wear. And so there you go. That's what I decided. Most recording engineers are much more profane. Well, so what? So you're telling me, Shock, that smidge isn't a legitimate sound engineer term for how much higher or lower a volume should be? I can't imagine all of my education, which is none, is going to waste. Yeah. There we go. Okay, cool, Elaine. It says the volume levels are better now. Perfect. Since all of these songs are coming off of different Lono albums, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the levels aren't necessarily identical. So if we need to adjust further later, let me know. I still haven't figured out how to listen to the music. See, the problem is if I listen to myself talk, I get confused. Like, I can't, there's a lag, so sometimes not having earphones in is easier. I'm really not sure how Andy does it. Like, I don't know what he's listening to, because if I had myself plugged into the output, I would be hearing myself Anyway, let's see what Darlene has to say, because I think that I might want that. So you cut yours in half, scoop out the guts, put in a casserole dish. Yep, see, there we go, on the same page. Put a good tablespoon of butter in each and sprinkle with brown sugar. Also a few chopped walnuts. Bake at 350 for a good half hour, depending on how large the squash is, till fork tender when tested. Yep, there you go. There you go. Oh, yeah, and now, Darlene, that is pretty much what I do. I don't generally like to do it with the brown sugar, but with the nuts and treating it maybe more as I haven't tried it with the nuts. That actually sounds good. I should probably give that a try, because the nuts, well, I'm about to say something really stupid, which is the nuts add this nutty flavor, which would really add some depth to the sweetness. Fancy that, the nuts add a nutty flavor. I am not a food critic. I just, eat. Yep, there we go. Yeah, and so to get back on the soapbox emote. Yeah, I sort of made it myself, and it took way too long. Like, seriously, the amount of time it took to make that emote is kind of embarrassing, but I did make it all by myself, and turns out I do have the software and the vague, cannot stress enough, vague know-how of how to use the software. And yeah, I thought that the soapbox was cute. Oh yeah, and I've been meaning to ask you guys. Okay, actually, to go back, Medium, you're gonna send me a link on Facebook for your squash situation. Perfect, good, and or at least something that's similar. Yeah, and I generally don't. I mean, I follow recipes, but what I'm really looking for is a lot of ideas maybe to work from. So yeah, even if it's not like the exact same recipe that you used or whatever, if it's something similar, good enough. Yeah, and thank you so much. So here's the deal. I'll totally cop to this. The box itself, well, actually, the emote, I could have, all right. The box itself is actually a downloadable image that was a free download made for an emote. Made, like, I don't think I'm breaking any laws. Like, it said it was free for use for your emotes. And it actually did have a soap label on it, but the soap label was all messed up, so it wouldn't like emote well for whatever. I still don't know why. It had something to do with how it was put together with layers, etc. So I had to kind of like deconstruct it and then reconstruct it. And so basically the box itself, the impressive part, yeah, I didn't do that. What I did was I made the soap label on the box, and that was hard enough. But either way, it was super awesome. I was really stoked because I think that soapbox emote is something that will get used often on my channel, but I also think other channels might have a use for it occasionally as well. But what I was wondering was, since apparently I don't even know if I can think of any, but Twitch has given creators a lot more emote slots and some animated options, or you're allowed to have a couple animated ones as well. And so I was thinking of having a flying fork as an animated, like a fork with wings that flaps, as an animated emote. And because I say the phrase flying fork a lot. And so I was just wondering if you guys thought that was cute, a cute idea. And then also, if someone knows how to do that, if maybe they could clue me in, I'd be pretty stoked on that too. Yeah, so there you go. All right, so Cindy's got a different idea. You can put ground pork. Okay, so now this is, I was thinking, I've never done, my boss was mentioning stuffed squash, and I've never done that. So let's check this out. Okay, so you can also put ground pork, onion, green peppers, and crushed tomatoes. Bake at 350 for 45 minutes. Add cheese if you want. Return to oven to melt. Oh, now see, that sounds good. I don't have ground pork, but I know where to get some. So, cool. And then Darlene, yeah, you can do a savory roasted squash with more herbs and a bit of olive oil. That's what I usually do, is I do a savory, there's a Penzeys spice blend called Turkish Spice Blend or something like that. Turkish seasoning, I think is what it's called. And I like that on my squashes a lot. I'm all over the savory, the savory basics. But I haven't done a sweet one in a really, really, really long time, and I think that the addition of nuts might be a good plan. What I think I might do maybe is like half sweet and half not sweet, half something else. Because I'm getting a lot of good ideas here, and it's like, well, no, I only have one squash, and I can't do them all, so, let's see here. Shock says we don't call it theft, we call it leveraging existing synergies and artistic expression. Perfect, then that's what I did. And PhotoLuke, I think you do. I think if PhotoLuke says he doesn't have any animated emotes, not fair. I mean, obviously you don't have any if you haven't made any, just like I don't have any. But I think if you go to your like manage emotes section, you'll see that more slots have opened up. And I think that there's 2 slots that are available for animated emotes. And I haven't even looked into like how to make them, what the specifications are, etc., etc. So I'm super clueless on that. But if I have access to the animated emotes, you have to have access, because you're a bigger content creator than I am. So I'm sure if they've given me access to those in the emote portfolio, you have to too. And so, yeah, see, okay, so Darlene, so you could, I can't even think of, I know I've seen animated emotes, I just can't even think of them at the moment, I'm like drawing a blank, and so, but you're thinking of them and you like them, okay, cool, and then, Medium 7 Up, you love the flying fork idea. Yeah, see, I was thinking, even if it's not animated, I was thinking like a fork with wings would be cute, just because flying fork. But I was wondering if we could get the fork to the wings of the fork to flap. That might be a cute animation, but yeah, I don't know. And Shock, exactly. The form factor is a little difficult because it's tiny little squares, and it's like, are you even going to be able to tell it's a fork if the wings are flapping, etc.? I don't know. Yeah, there's so many questions. So, oh, Shock, you like cardamom on your squashy things. I've never had cardamom on squash, but that's actually a really logical flavor profile to be putting on that. So that makes sense. So, PhotoLuke, no, I love it when you come in and hop in the conversation, especially when especially when we're talking Twitch Dec, because both of us, me and you, Luke, aren't always top notch when it comes to keeping up with all the Twitch evolutions. And you luckily have, Terry in Scotland and iRoots and all your folks to tell you what's going on. And it was because of them telling you and you telling me that I realized that maybe I had some emotes that are extra and animated. And so I think if I do, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you do too, Luke. So, okay, cool. So Elaine, you think that the flying fork with wings is a cute idea? Excellent. Okay, cool. Then I will pursue that direction. It'll probably be like 9 or 10 years before it actually sees production, because it takes me that long. No, it won't be that long, but don't hold your breath for that emote. But yeah. But yeah, there you go. I think we're gonna try it. And where? My. All right. According to Anne, Lono, this song perhaps is maybe just a skosh too loud. So we're turning it down another smidge. I don't know if that smidge is good enough, but I just turned it down, and just a smidge, that technical term again. So let me know if I need to turn it down or if I turned it down too much. Yep, you know, just let me know. Gosh, okay, so PhotoLuke, I missed your show today, and it sounds like I am gonna have to go back and watch the rerun because it sounds like it was a delicious show. Eating noodles, all the foods. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check out your show. So, wait, what? PhotoLuke? You did check your emotes thing and you have more slots, but no animated emotes for me? You don't think it's for everyone. You never saw any options. That's cool that I got them. Well, I find that so very difficult to believe. But maybe I misread. Maybe, now I've got some homework to do. Maybe I misread and misunderstood that I swear, I thought they said I was able to have 2 animated ones. So let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll have to do some homework. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe the fork won't get to fly. Maybe it'll just be a still life fork with wings. We'll find out. Oh, hey, Thomas the Turtle. Fantastic. I'm glad you could come on in, and oh, gyoza on PhotoLuke's stream. Okay, yeah, yum. That sounds good. Hey there, I betta. How you doing? Welcome to the Statterbox crew. Thanks for chatting. Good to see you. I'm glad that you can be here for this evening's randomness, quite literally. So there you go. Let's see. So you're clueless what your mods do, PhotoLuke. Yeah, I'm not clueless. I just let them do what they do because I'm not smart enough to figure out how to get my mod view up while I'm streaming. So, oh, okay. So PhotoLuke, you saw an alert that said animated emotes coming soon. So, okay. So maybe that's what I saw was like coming soon, watch this space. You're going to have 2 slots. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm going to go back after I finish this stream and just find out what the heck it is that's going on there. So there, let's see here. So option, you animate all your motes? I don't know. Well, wait, what? How do you do that? How do you do that? I might have to hit you up, option, on explaining how you do your fancy stuff. Yeah, exactly, Rick. Good going on ya. Hi there, I betta. Pull up a soapbox, settle in, and chatter. Yep, watch the chatter scatter here at the Statterbox for sure. Oh, Shakalak, a fork with jet engines. That could work too. Yeah, that could work too. Totally. There we go. See, that's what we're doing here. We're collaborating ideas. Brainstorming, I guess, is technically the term. So there we go. Oh, option, you animate everything you see in life. You just do it in your head. Nice. Okay, well, that doesn't help me, man. I need to get what's in your head onto the emote screen. Goodness gracious. Option is one smart donkey. That's funny. Yep. So let's see here. Okay, so Shock just got... That's so funny what you consider a tchotchke. Aw, my husband just gave me an adorable tchotchke from the conference today. USB to 3 kinds of cable for charging stuff. That is nice, actually. That is pretty nice. I wouldn't call it a tchotchke, but hey, that's a good gift. Yeah, Cindy, exactly. Shock, score. Yeah, I need to, it's a multi-dongle. That's the second time. You know, I don't hear the word dongle very often in my life. Twice today I've heard the word dongle, and now I've said it how many times? I wonder if I say dongle, 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 if one will appear for me. Turns out no. All right then. And you love the word dongle. It always makes you laugh. It is a funny word, and it kind of like, I don't know, feels like it's sort of a dirty word, right? But it's totally not. I mean, it's just, yeah, there you go. Okay, so earlier today, I showed pictures of baby bears, and I showed pictures of grown-up bears, and all the bears were cute. Yeah, dangle your dongle. It suggests things. It absolutely does, right? I mean, I'm not the only one whose brain goes there. I mean, I know, like, 12-year-old boys' brains go there, but, like, I'm not a 12-year-old boy, but, you know. So, option, we will forever know dongle as a dirty word going forward. Oh, come on. I'm not the first person to bring this up. Right, dongle is a cousin to a dingleberry. Precisely. Exactly. Shock, right? I mean, isn't that, right, which nerd guy made up that name? That is precisely it. You know, I guess you can't tell me, option, that has never crossed your mind. Oh no, it's always been innocent to you. Well, option, welcome to my world. You won't stay innocent for long. In fact, I have kind of wondered how Vanilla Coke Pepsi hasn't run screaming from this chat more often than he has. So, you know, yeah, cover your ears, cover your eyes, because you don't know what's going to be coming out of my mouth. That's for darn sure. But hey, so we saw baby bears earlier, and lots of times earlier in the podcast, no, not a podcast, whatever this is, live streams, I've talked about orcas, right? And orcas, resident orcas in the southern resident orcas in the Salish Sea, have for the last 3 years not been having any successful live births. In fact, there was a horrific birth that was not successful that got picked up around the world a couple seasons ago from one of our residents, and her calf died, and she continued to carry it with her for days upon days upon days afterwards. It was a heartbreaking story, but that news has sort of turned around because the salmon stocks are increasing thanks to conservation efforts. There's the last few seasons have had a lot better food supply. And this particular baby season, the happiest baby orca in the world got born. That is J50, and J50 is a little female orca, and J50 is the newest and happiest, healthiest, frolicingest little baby orca in the world, basically. And all these cute pictures were taken by a gentleman named Clint Rivers, I believe his name was. And these pictures were taken in the Salish Sea. This was taken just off of Canada's waters. But the J-pod and the J-pod and the S-pod, I believe. Oh, no, wait, it's the A-pod. Gosh, you know what? I feel really silly. J-pod and something else. I think it's the S-pod. But then I'm thinking it also might be the A-pod. Those are the two pods that hang out here. And when I refer to them, they're the orcas that I traditionally refer to as resident orcas, which, as we've discussed, is not necessarily a fair name because transient orcas, aka Biggs orcas, are much more local than we have given them credit for in the past. But These are not Big's transients. These are local residents, the southern residents, and it is J-Pod. This is my favorite picture. Look at that baby leaping out of the water. If that is not the happiest baby leaping out of a water, I don't know. These two pictures right here, just look at how happy the little baby is. It's just the most cute little thing ever. And so, yeah, and so I just thought I would share with you. Exactly, Rick. Flying fork. Look at that bugger jump. Precisely, Shock. You're gonna adopt a child and name it C25. Sounds good. PhotoLuke. Okay, so you're thinking how that thing can toss you around like a doll and rip me to shreds. Fair enough. Now the mom could and would, but this baby is probably only about as big as you are right now. So, about 6 feet or long versus 6 feet tall. So, so this one could probably toss you around like a doll, but maybe not rip you to shreds. That's not to say that it couldn't grievously injure you, but rip you to shreds, not quite, not yet. Not quite, not yet. And then, yeah, exactly. And Darlene, you are totally right. It's cute only from a distance. I wouldn't want to be in the water with it either. Frankly, I wouldn't want to be in the water with it for 2 reasons. First off, I'd be afraid of like how many laws am I flipping breaking. And then also I would just be like, yeah, where's the mom? That really is, like as Elaine points out, cute, but wild creatures like the bears. Yeah. And a baby like a bear, you always want to know, where the mom is, right? You don't want to see, yeah, it's a cute baby bear, but cute baby bears usually have not so cute mama bears, right? Yeah. So, well now, Shock, since when do I care about the law? That is a really good question. That is a fair and legitimate question. But when it comes to respecting the wildlife laws and the distances required to keep them safe, I actually do respect those laws pretty stringently. Obviously, there comes a point when you can't because they swim faster than you can paddle, and suddenly they are in your space. But when given the choice and the ability to remain the proper 1,000-foot distance, you better flip and believe that is what I do. So, so there you go. And let's see. Yeah, and Darlene, exactly. There's certain safety laws that do apply if you don't want to get eaten. Right. I mean, it's like, yeah. As Kenny from the Cove says, hey, Kenny, good to see you, by the way. The laws of nature can come back to bite you if you ignore them. Precisely. Yes. So, yeah. So that was my little slideshow for the cutest baby orca in the world. And yeah, so I guess today's theme is just nothing but babies. Baby bear butts that are all fuzzy, and then little orca butts that are all jumpy. Yeah, so if you ever want to see me go a little bit googly-eyed for a baby, just make sure that it's not a human baby and we'll be fine. But the moment it's a human baby, it's like, oh, I don't like how that smells and it needs to go away. It's so loud. Why is it here? So, but if it's a fuzzy baby, like a baby tiger, oh, you have a baby tiger, I would love to put my face in its belly. Shockalock, maybe we need a snark shark emote. Well, no, I don't want a snark shark, because I kind of want a point and laugh emote, because there's a lot of things I do that deserve to be pointed and laughed at. And pointing and laughing is kind of mean and kind of snarky. So I feel like that might be good for our mean emote. And obviously I don't want a point and laugh emote to be used in a mean way, but let's get real. It's kind of mean. If you're not doing it with love, like, or like I'm laughing with you, not at you, like, and that's how I would like That's how I would like the haha or hee hee emotes. Yeah, option. Seriously, no, I was thinking about absolutely ripping off Nelson, but instead of having haha, yeah, Rick, exactly. It's the Nelson haha. I was honestly, seriously, this is the level of my lack of creativity. I was totally thinking of ripping off Nelson, but instead of it saying haha, I was gonna have it say hee hee, but still point and laugh. So yeah. Oh, shock. Right. What is Nelson? Haha. Okay. There's this television show called The Simpsons, and there is a character on The Simpsons who is the bully. And his name is Nelson. And his catchphrase, as it were, whenever somebody does something, like if they fall off a bike or if their feelings get hurt or whatever, there's Nelson in the background going, ha ha. And literally pointing and laughing and saying, ha ha. And so if you like Google Nelson, ha ha, and then go to the images, you'll see infinity memes and still screenshots and blah, blah, blah. But basically it's a Simpsons reference, a Simpsons character, and his catchphrase is, ha ha, where he points and laughs. So yeah. Oh yeah, option. No, well, because here's the thing, option. Of course, that's I kind of had to match the haha cadence that he does, because if you say it like that, most people who are aware of the Simpsons paradigm, they know exactly. They take it as a joke. Like they're not gonna be offended by me pointing and laughing and saying haha when I say it sounding like Nelson, because if you know that that's Nelson's voice, then you get that it's just it's said as a joke, basically. So yeah. Let's see. So what's going on here? Hold on. Oh no, Kenny from the Cove, your Wednesday is kind of going downhill. Are you still let's see, are you still up in visiting your sister in, what is it, Temple or Tempe? Shoot, Tempe is in Arizona, I think. Are you still out on the road, or are you back home yet? So I'm sorry that your Wednesday is not rolling in the most perfect direction. Yeah, hopefully, like Shock says, Chatter with Statter can help turn it around, or at least put the brakes on the downhill trajectory. Maybe we can't turn it around. Maybe we can just slow it down. Slow in the roll. So yeah, okay, so it sounds like, though, from what you guys are giving me feedback for, and I really do appreciate this, because I am not a graphic designer by any stretch of the imagination, but it sounds like the Nelson haha emote is maybe acceptable and not considered too horrifically mean for us. I mean, maybe you don't want to go using it on anybody's stream. But that and then the flying fork also sound like a good plan. So those, I think, are going to be some of the emotes that I'm going to be working on, because the deal is, if you're going to be spending your hard-earned money on subscribing to Twitch, my Twitch channel, I would like to at least give you the bare minimum of what it is that subscription can offer you. And as it turns out, Twitch has opened up a couple more slots for more emotes. So I need to get on it. I need to fill them. I need to give you some product. I need to give you some results. I need to give you some things to fly. And then I need to figure out how to let them fly across my screen. But that'll be after I get my chat box back and my alerts back. Then we'll get fancy. Okay, so Kenny, you're back home, but now you got to fix one of Blue's headlights. Okay, all right. Medium 7-Up, you demand results. Ha ha. No, yeah, exactly. You demand them. You guys are such harsh mistresses. I have fear for my life, except for when I don't, which is usually. But yeah, let's see here. The haha emote can also be used for something really funny if that ever happens. Okay, Rick, that was funny. I don't know if you meant to do that left-handed compliment or not, but that was hysterical. If funny ever happens. But you're right. Actually, it could be our version of LOL. That's a really good really, it's a really good way to look at it, actually, because I was thinking, I was just thinking of it in like the mean way, but you know, that could be our repurposed LOL. And Rick, honestly, I don't know if your parenthetical was intended to be the joke that it was, but that was funny. I mean, that was funny. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. So it sounds like then we all are on the same page. So Kenny, okay, yeah, you think my Nelson is kind of on the point. Well, I can tell you right now, you know, I don't even know if I want to admit this, but I will. So The Simpsons has been a part of my life. I haven't watched as diligently in the last probably decade. Because I think it's been going on for like 34 years now. Actually, I can tell you exactly how long it's been going on because I remember the first episode. And I remember, well, that's not right. I remember that I was 16 years old. So it started in 1989. And so my trusty thing, yeah, okay, so 32 years. This show has been on 32 years, right? I would say for more than half of its lifespan, I watched every single episode the day that it came out. Now, the very first episode of The Simpsons came out, I don't remember if it was a Wednesday night or if it was a Sunday night, but I do remember, yeah, Kenny from the Cove, right. The Simpsons started as part of the Tracy Ullman Show. That is 100% correct. But the very first episode that they ever had, the full half-hour episode, was the episode, it was a Christmas special episode, and it was where they got Santa's little helper, their dog, at the dog track race. And I remember this very distinctly because my friends and I were all super stoked about The Simpsons coming a show. We watched it the night before, but my friend Heidi, she recorded it. And so pretty much all of the rocker, stoner, leather jacket, smoking behind the schoolroom kids, you know, me and all my friends, we didn't show up to school the next day because we all went to Heidi's house. Like 8 o'clock in the morning, dude, all of us are on her porch. Heidi's mom is like, what in the is going on here? You know, there's like 12, 13, 14 kids, just and we go down to the basement and we ditch school and we watched the Simpsons episode on repeat over and over again and smoked weed in her basement for the whole school day. And so, yeah, there you go. That's my Simpsons story. But I know that I was 16 when it came out, the very first episode. It is pretty much burned in my memory. And yeah, there you go. So Rick, your uncle would always say to you, if you don't have something nice to say, come sit by me and we can make fun of people together. Ha ha. Yeah, exactly. See, I would, Rick, I like your uncle. I'd be sitting by him the whole flippin' time. Oh yeah. Kenny from the Cove, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the Flintstones were the very first primetime animated television show based on, I believe, what was it, The Honeymooners? But I could be wrong about what the Flintstones was based on, but I'm 99% sure that the Flintstones was the first primetime animated show. And yeah, Medium 7-Up, we're, you would have totally been one of my friends in high school. Because when I was in high school, my best friend was like the third person in the school to come out as gay in school, like out and proud and like, eh. And the second person who came out in school, in the high school that I went to, was another one of my best friends who actually took me on my very first date to my very first concert when I was 13. We went to go see Cyndi Lauper, and my mom saw him and she was like, oh honey, he's not straight, you know, and then eventually turned out my mom was right. So anyway, yeah. The stoners, the gay kids, the theater, all of my friends were basically part of the Island of Misfit Toys. I don't know if you remember the Island of Misfit Toys from the creepy holiday stop animation stuff, but yeah, my friends were all from the Island of Misfit Toys. Absolutely. So, okay, Kenny, I knew I was right about what show, but it was based on the Honeymooners. Okay, cool, excellent. See, I know some things and a little bit of stuff. Shock, you had like 4 friends and we were all the nerds and misfits. Well, now when I say friends, by the way, I use that term like we were part of a social circle, etc. But you know, when it comes to like friends, I really only had like 2 or 3 friends in high school that I really paid much attention to. But you know, when you're smoking in the back of the school, there's safety in numbers. They can only catch so many of you. So, you know, you get a social circle, right? Now, to be clear, I didn't smoke cigarettes when I was in high school or ever. It never stuck. My mom, my dad, my sister, they smoked cigarettes. I tried so much. But it never stuck. But I did always hang out with the people, the stoners, etc., that were there. So I was always late to class. You know, I was always the last one in, you know, reeked of smoke. And it's just like, you can search me all you want, teacher. I ain't got any cigarettes on me because I wasn't smoking. I might smell like it. You might think I was. I might have been next to everybody who was, but I was not. Yeah, you know, as per our talk earlier, like laws, what? Do I pay attention to rules and laws? Not so much. Not always. Yeah. So, shock, but now that you're old, us misfits are the cool ones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't see many misfits driving around in a minivan, right? I mean, at least not in my, you know, not in my zone, as it were. So, let's see here. I can't possibly be, now it's clear the Shock was probably not hanging out behind the science room, the science labs, smoking cigarettes, but I can't possibly be the only one who was doing little bad things in high school during lunch and between classes. I can't possibly be the only one, can I? Are we really? Is the Statterbox crew really full of people who are just so good? So good. Yeah, okay, so Darlene, Rick and I were just talking about school and the security back then. A lot of people snuck off school grounds on break and toking. Yes, exactly. Darlene, okay, so to continue with what you're saying, this security back then versus the security now, right? I mean, there are school districts that employ literal police officers to patrol their ground. When I was in high school, Mr. Haggerty was the school security officer. Mr. Haggerty pretty much had 3 shirts: a bright fluorescent pink sweatshirt, a day-glow yellow sweatshirt, and a bright fluorescent orange sweatshirt. Mr. Haggerty also whistled. So, if you got caught by Mr. Haggerty, it was your own damn fault. Mr. Haggerty made it really easy to make sure everybody knew he was coming. So if you were off in the woods doing whatever you were doing in the woods, because my school butted up against a bunch of woods, you know, if you were across the stream, whatever, and you saw a bright pink something coming through the bushes, you knew that Haggerty was on your trail, and it was best to stop doing whatever it is you were probably doing. If you got caught by Haggerty, it was your own fault. And, you know, nowadays, they've got police officers. I mean, it's absolutely a different level of security in high schools these days versus, you know, back when I was a kid. you weren't allowed to leave, but they didn't do anything to make sure you didn't, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah, Shock. No, you weren't hanging out with the smokers. You were hanging out with the sci-fi nerdy people. Not at all surprised. Rick was an angel. I'm sure Rick was an angel. Yep, he was. So, medium 7 up. To be honest, you were goody two-shoes at school and did all your troublemaking in my free time. Well, that's not a bad thing. But see, the thing is I was in honor roll. I was the editor of the yearbook. I mean, I was doing stuff, but I was also ditching class because I didn't need to be there, you know? And so, I got to the point where I would just flaunt the rules of whether or not, because it was a closed campus, you were not allowed to leave. And there were times when I would leave in my car and there would be faculty out at the driveway entrance filming people who were leaving. And most of the people, when they saw that someone was going to be filming them, they turned their car around and went back. I slowed down, rolled down my window, gave a peace sign with my face, and then continued on. I mean, it was just like, yeah, man, you know, you caught me. So what? Come chase me, you know? And, yeah, I don't, your law does not apply to me, teacher. Yeah. So, okay, so PhotoLuke, you used to smoke quickly in the boys' bathroom in 8th grade. It's funny, smoking that cigarette so fast made you smell worse. Why would you think that no one could smell it on you? I know, right? Isn't that so? Especially now that nobody really smokes. I can't believe how foul cigarette smoke smells. And I must have reeked of it all the time because my mom smoked, my dad smoked, my sister smoked, all my friends smoked. I mean, it was just on me the whole time. And now I can barely even be outside downwind from someone who's smoking a cigarette. It's so flippin' bizarre how our noses were so desensitized back in the day, right? Yeah. So, Kenny, in high school, you ran with anybody who partied, jocks, stoners, ropers, band kids. If they got down, I knew them and they knew me. Yeah, exactly. And that's precisely it. I don't know what a roper is. I'm assuming... Kenny, what's a roper? I mean, you were, I guess, in Texas, so I'm going to say, what, the rodeo kids? But I don't have any idea. What's a roper, Kenny? Tell me what a roper is. And if you say Mr. Roper from Three's Company, I'm going to have to prell ya. But no, what's a roper? Let's see here. Yeah, Rick, Rick, you are 100% right. Mr. Haggerty was smart, Rick says. Can't miss him coming, everybody splits, and he's done. Easy. That's exactly it. He didn't really want to get you in trouble because it meant more work for him. That is 100% right. And so, you know, and he did his job well, I thought. Yeah, so... Kenny from the Code, the nerds in your high school actually threw the most rock nasty wild parties. Oh, awesome. That's cool. Let's see here. Yeah, and where? That was exactly my logic. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone, you know? And the thing is, my mom volunteered at the school, like, a lot. And, you know, I get my personality from someone, and it sure as heck isn't my dad, or wasn't my dad. And so 9 times out of 10, if I got in trouble, like for doing whatever, I would just be like, you know what, you can just go take this up with my mom. And, you know, they didn't want to take it up with my mom. And so it was just like, all right, I'm not gonna go back to class because I'm not gonna take it up with your mom. It's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. Isn't it weird, PhotoLuke, how cigarette smoke bothers you now, but yeah, back in the day, no big deal. Not even. Okay, so rope, goat roper, the country, cowboy kids. Okay, so like so sort of rodeo. Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, and isn't it funny? When I was a kid, I didn't have a problem with the cigarette smoke, didn't even notice it. But nowadays, I had this friend who came over, and he was doing something with my fuse box, and then he left. I mean, he was supposed to be. He was part of why he came over. And then he left, and I wasn't home while he was doing this. And I went into my bedroom where the fuse box is, and I got super pissed because it just reeked of nasty cigarette smoke. And it was just like, you smoked a cigarette in my bedroom? Oh God. I was livid. I was livid. Yep. So, yeah, medium 7-Up. You did 2 years of high school and decided you were done and went to an early college. That was basically where I was at once I got to be a junior in high school. It was just like, I just need to go. I'm done with this. We're done with this. But, no, that wasn't the case. My parents were just like, no, they were not going to let me go to alternative school. They were not going to let me homeschool. They were not going to let me just get it over with quicker. You know, 'cause like, I can do in one summer all of everything. Can we just get it done? No, nope. So I wish, I mean, you know, I don't know what I wish, but I totally feel the whole, yeah, I'm done with high school now. We need to stop. We need to stop now. Oh, okay. So Kenny, you're saying that roper also stems from the popular style of cowboy boots back then. Justin Roper's. You still have a pair. I've never heard of this, which doesn't surprise me at all. But I do want to Google that. So I'm going to write that down. Yeah, I want to Google that when I'm done. I have a lot of things to Google when I'm done. Animated emotes, grumpy old men, Justin Roper's boots, other things too. Let's see. And you wish you were young again after bars and clubs banned smoking. I missed out on a lot of fun because you couldn't stand the smoke. Yeah, that is too bad. You know, the funny thing is, even though I wasn't a smoker, I honestly, when they banned smoking in bars in Seattle, I couldn't envision how that was going to be. I thought it was just the dumbest rule, but as it turns out, it wasn't. It was a very lovely thing. To not have to deal with rock shows that were filled with smoke anymore. And actually, what the best thing about the smoking ban in the Seattle area, at least, and I think this happened in San Francisco too. I mean, I know it happened in San Francisco. Places were forced to sort of give you an outside area to smoke. And consequently, it kind of became, even before it was legal, it kind of became like the de facto area for you to just go smoke your weed as well. And the bar they just wouldn't even bother you, even though technically speaking, you were totally breaking the law. So that was kind of handy. I will admit that was a nice side effect to the no smoking in the bars. I do remember once, though, I was on this super old school, I was in a bar on the waterfront of San Francisco. I don't remember what part of the waterfront, not near Fisherman's Wharf. I can tell you that. And it was a old, like over the water, kind of on the water kind of bar or building. And you know, the inside was had the wood from history, and it was an old bar. Pictures of Marilyn Monroe back in her heyday, apparently, at this particular bar. Beautiful view of the bay. But it had turned into basically a dive bar at that point. And so it was like, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And me and one of my friends popped in to grab a drink. We had already been up and out for many hours or whatever. Anyway, the bar, all the seats at the bar proper were basically filled clearly with regulars. And every single person at the bar was smoking. Now, we went and had a table over at the window overlooking the bay and doing whatever. Had a drink. I went to go order another drink, and I said to the bartender, and this was after California, because California, I think, was the first state to ban smoking in bars. And so this was after they had banned it. And there were signs everywhere that said no smoking, no smoking, no smoking, right? Yet here I am, like everybody in the bar, including the bartender, is smoking. What in the flying fork is going on here? So I went up to the bar and I made it very clear. I said, first off, I am not complaining. And I wasn't, because I didn't care at that point. I was like, first off, I'm not complaining. This is not a complaint. But there's a sign there that says no smoking and blah, blah, blah. And California, I thought, so how are you guys smoking? And the bartender said that someone has to report the smoking. The health department has to come out and witness the smoking before the bar gets a fine for someone smoking. And she's just like, we'll put our cigarettes out before the health department gets here. Okay. That's one way to look at it. There you go. Yeah. So, let's see here. Yeah, well, Kenny, exactly. The smoking ban only solved the cigarette smoke issue at the rock shows you went to. Well, that is really funny. You should say that. I was at a show in San Francisco. It was a club. It was a fundraiser for the West Memphis 3 when they were back in jail and people were trying to get them out. And it was after the smoking ban had come into effect, and I was clueless about the etiquette. Like, it didn't even occur to me that if there's no cigarette smoke in the club, then you probably shouldn't light up a joint in the club. So I lit a joint in the club, right? And I'm I'm toking away. And Eddie Spaghetti, the lead singer for the Super Suckers were on stage at that time. And he was just like, he's just like, I love that smell. And he knew me. He knew who was doing it. And he's like, I love that smell. But he's like, I'm pretty sure that's going to get you kicked out, Bad Kitty. Because at the time I was known as Bad Kitty. And his wife was pissed because she had her baby with her and everything. And so basically the club bouncers all escorted me outside and let me know that was verboten inside, but they also told me where I could go do it outside, so that was fine. But yeah, I felt like a total ass. It was just, it was literally like a spotlight. Even though the spotlight didn't go on me, the spotlight absolutely was on me. And yeah, so there you go. Yeah, medium 7-Up, Bad Kitty. There's an online community surrounding the Super Suckers, which is a band from Seattle that has been around forever. And the online community that is surrounding the Super Suckers, they know me as Bad Kitty. And so I have had many online personalities. And yes, Bad Kitty X was one of them, notorious as it were. So, yeah, exactly. Darlene, precisely. Scold you, yep, exactly. They scolded me, but then they told me, yes, this is where you can go. And that's when I realized, and it was really, it was absolutely, as humiliating as it was, because it was, I'm not even going to lie to you, it was humiliating. When they escorted me to the outside, to where I could do it, that suddenly I was like, oh, well, maybe banning smoking in clubs isn't the worst idea, because then they go and designate an area for you. So there you go. It's always nice when the club lets you know that this is the weed smoking area. There was another club I went to. This was in Seattle. And it was called The Morgue, and it is down in Georgetown. at the time, it's in a different location now. At the time, it was the most underground punk rock club that there was. I mean, like, it wasn't a legit, it was a speakeasy. It wasn't licensed, you know. It was an all ages club. So, like, you know, 15-year-olds would smuggle in a 12-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon. How do you smuggle in a 12-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon? You carry it in. Like, it was that kind of club, you know. It was no holds barred, you know. It was, I mean, literally in the courtyard area of the club, there was like, you know those metal barrels that you see in movies where people have fires, you know, coming out of them, like where homeless people warm their hands? Yeah, like, you know, there was a couple of those, you know, like, I mean, it was just this crazy club. So, my friend and I were outside the fence zone smoking weed, and the owner of the club comes out and he's like, "No, don't do that here," you know. And we're like, "Oh, hey, sorry, dude," you know, because this is before it was legal. And he's like, "No, we have a weed smoking section," you know. And so he went and showed us where the weed smoking section was. So, you know, like I said, smoking banning in clubs really, I guess, isn't the worst thing. You know, they gave us our own spot. Unlike this one time where we were out in the back alley in Seattle, and yeah, they had a weed smoking section. Yeah, and so this one time, see, and when you have a weed smoking section, you don't end up with problems like this. So we left the Crocodile Cafe, which it's a pretty iconic club in Seattle, and we walked down the block to go to my roommate's forge. She was a blacksmith, still is. Anyway, so we're all hanging out outside the front of her forge, outside the front of the forge, smoking weed, and the coffee shop next door, suddenly, like, the manager just comes, he slams open the door and just comes huffing out into the alleyway, and he's just like, "You guys are smoking weed right under my air intake vent." You know, and we're like, "Oh, hey man, sorry." And he's like, "That's how I knew to come back and ask you if I could have a hit." And it was like, okay. Everyone thought they were in trouble. But no, he was just like, "That's some good weed. I wanted to try it." And so he came out and smoked the rest with us and carried on. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah, because boy, he was coming at us like he was about ready to call the flippin' cops. And and it was just like, and I mean, all of us were like, "Oh, the shit hit, you know, the crap has hit the fan, right?" No, not really. No, not really. And yeah. And but you know, it never hurts to offer. Another time, I was at this hotel in the International District in Seattle, up in Japantown, and a couple of friends of mine who were stand-up comedians, they were finishing a 50-day tour. I don't know who decided to do this. But they were 3 comedians. They did a 50-day comedy tour, hitting one state every single day, going through all 50 states in 50 days. Nightmare. And it was a nightmare, as it turns out, but that's neither here nor there. But their last show was in Seattle. So I'm hanging out with them in their hotel room, and it's like a crummy hotel room. I mean, it's like old building from, like, you know, 1912 walk up rooming boarding house kind of hotel room, you know. So we're all, you know, crouched around the bed, you know, passing we've got multiple pipes going on, maybe a joint or something like that, and boom 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 on the door, you know, and the room is just filled, you know. I mean, there's no hiding what we're doing. Once again, not legal yet. And so we open the door, and the guy at the front desk is there. And yeah, Darlene, yeah, totally, it's a dump. Yeah, it's the hotel that you get a room with if you do a show at the Comedy Underground, which is where they did the show, and you need a place to stay. That's where the Comedy Underground will put you up, is at this particular hotel. Super cheap. It's actually it's a cool hotel. But yeah, it is a dump. But it was cool from a historic sense. So anyway, boom, 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 boom. Front desk clerk, I open the front desk clerk is there, and he's just like, look, man, the owner's in the building, and she, and there is no smoking in this building, and blah, 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 and so we sort of stand there, and then we're like, well, do you want to come in and join us? And he was like, yes. I was like, awesome. So front desk clerk leaves his post up in the flipping room with us doing what we're doing. And then eventually we all wandered out. He went and did his job. And then we went downstairs, and we ended up running into the owner, who was super nice. And this is where it was actually kind of cool, because she was telling us about the building and how the building is technically, so in Seattle, we've got what's known as the International District. And the International District is not really International District, it's the Asian District. It's got Chinatown, it's got Koreatown, it's got Japantown. Most people think of the International District and Chinatown as interchangeable and the same thing. Not really. There are delineations between Chinatown, where the street signs are in Chinese, and Japantown, where the street signs are in Japanese, and Koreatown, where the street signs are in Korean. We were in Japantown. And by the way, I lived in Seattle, Puget Sound area my whole life, didn't know that. It was because of hanging out at this hotel, talking to the owner, that I learned this. So Japantown, actually a thing, and the hotel that we were at, that she owned, had actually it had, the bottom basement was actually a Japanese bath. They didn't use it anymore, but it was filled with the Japanese soaking tubs, and it used to be a cultural hangout center for a lot of the it was the bathhouse for the Japanese part of town. And when I say bathhouse, I don't mean the modern day implication of what a bathhouse is. I mean, a bathhouse, like, right, for the elite. You got it, Darlene. Like a real life, for bathing, soaking and bathing and cleaning and stuff. So, which actually, we have several bathhouses in Seattle that are Russian bathhouses that are also in current use for that same purpose. And then, of course, in Seattle, there are other bathhouses that are what bathhouses have traditional or have come to mean, basically. So that's how that goes. So yeah, so that was a super cool, even though the front desk clerk probably got in trouble that day because of us. That was a really cool, and even though the hotel, like Darlene said, was kind of a dump, it was really a cool hotel, actually. So there you go. And yeah, no, Darlene, the Russian ones are super nice. And they're kind of crazy. Like, I don't really know how they're licensed in the United States, because it seems like patently dangerous, because they go like the one that one of my friends in Seattle goes to, it like, they beat you with sticks. Not really sticks, but they beat you with like herbs and limbs and stuff. But then like there's an ice pool, and then there's the heated pool, and you go back and forth between the ice pool and the heated pool. And I just feel like, I don't know if that I don't in Russia, some of their bathhouses, it's like, yeah, you're supposed to like drink a bunch of vodka and then go jump into that hole in the ice and then go get into the hot thing. It just seems like the epitome of danger. And they're like, no, you do it for health. It's like, okay, I don't really know if that's healthy. It sounds scary and dangerous to me. Yeah, exactly. Shock. That's Russia. Yep. It's like they do danger for health. That's it. But you're right, Kenny. It was a dump of a hotel, but a cool historical dump. Totally. Totally. Yes, and it was a super fun night. In fact, actually, it was probably the funnest night on the tour. I remember one of the comedians was saying, he's just like, "Wow, I really wish that every night was, was like this, hanging around, making jokes, smoking weed, But you can't have if you're gonna do 50 shows in 50 days in 50 states. There's no hanging out at night. You're done with the show. You're in the bus. You're in the whatever. Um, it was I don't know whose brilliant idea it was to tour 50 states in 50 days, but they did it, and yeah, and I was there to hand him a joint at the end of the trip. Rick says more vodka, skip the ice. I'm in. Yep, there you go. There you go. Darlene, you're gonna head out. Stuffs to get ready for tomorrow, an appointment, no problem. And you know what? I think it's probably a good time for everybody to head out because it's 6:30 and it is time to wrap up this chatter with Statter. I'm so glad that you guys could come hang out and look at all the cute baby animals, and I'm glad that you guys were able to put up with my weed stories, because I've got more than one. And let's see here. Anne saying the spot at the Grand Wailea Maui has those hot freezing plunge pools, ridiculously expensive. But there was not a stick beating. They wouldn't beat you with a stick. Oh, not even if you paid them enough. Ah, that's funny. Oh, shock. So risky. All you ever did was sneak gin and tonics into national parks. That's so cute. Well, you do you, boo. Ah. And where you pay through the nose not to get beaten. All right. Fair enough. So, hey, if anybody on the actual Twitch, because I am not, and I'm wondering, I'm looking on my little Twitch right now. I'm wondering, is there anybody that we should be rating? Oh, it looks like Terry in Scotland is doing something. I think he is got a movie going on. Would you guys care to join Terry, or should we just wrap this up? A hui ho medium 7-up. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I always love it when I see you in the hale. Yeah, so let me know if we should raid. Okay, cool. So Shock, Terry said he'd run after me, so let's raid Terry. Cool. All right, let's cool. I'm gonna go set up the raid thing. So if you guys wanna, I don't ever set up raid calls because I'm not fancy like that. But if you guys want to create them, we can, or you can, that is. But I'm going to, there we go. So I'm gonna get raiding, and then I will hopefully see you on Saturday. So, all right, time for the raid. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you laters.